Hello, don't laugh. Everyone. In honor of me buying nice underwear that I'm not gonna show anyone, we're gonna talk about dating. Uh, okay, so I feel like a good place would a good place to start would be talking about the first crush I ever had. I don't know if it's okay to say his real name. I don't know. I'm gonna say it anyway. He's not watching this, and neither is anyone who knows him watching this. But I had a crush on this kid named. Actually, no. What? What am I? Okay, I'm not gonna say his name. His fake name was Vinny. We were in the same elementary school, so at some point in second grade, I had a crush on him, and he had a bowl cut. I was missing my front teeth. He was missing his front teeth. And I remember thinking, like, he really likes math. I should be good at math. But I was like number dyslexic, so that wasn't really working. Eventually, a couple years later, I got really good at math, like multiplication, uh, division, all of it. I was good at all of it. Like, I was taking like calculus in middle school. So frick everybody. But this kid, back to what I was saying, had a bowl cut, looked straight, like, looked like Will Byers. I don't remember anything about him other than there was another girl that liked him, Emily, and I don't know if this was just my imagination, but I just remember one day she just pantsed herself in front of everyone. I don't know. And I remember she was really mad that we both liked the same boy, and my mom had a rule where I was only allowed to invite two people to my house at a time for a sleepover. And Emily, I was friends with her, but she just wasn't as good friends with me as the other two people that I would invite to my house. And she was like upset about that. So I feel bad that I didn't even steal her man though. Neither of us got this little Vinny kid. Um, but I don't know, we just had major beef. That's like the first person, like in person crush I had. And I was kind of ahead in the trend with this. I had a crush on Ross Lynch, but not Ross Lynch, but Austin Moon. It was crazy. I remember I hated Laura Morano, who played Allie. Not her as a person, but Allie. I despised her because I was like, literally, that is my man. I also used to look like Laura Morano when I was little, so I feel like that kind of there was something underlying there that I was just confused about. I thought he was like funny. I thought he was quick. I thought he was smart. All of it. I feel like I liked blondes when I was little too. I think I still like blondes. I also remember that one of the things about his character was that he liked pancakes, and so I would not eat waffles. I was a pancake girl, and I really didn't let go of that until I was like maybe 14. I really, 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 really liked pancakes because of Austin Moon. Those were the two crushes that I think I had. Like, those were the first crushes, but those were like the only crushes I had until I was maybe 13. I didn't want to like boys. I didn't want boys to like me because it felt awkward. I was just so disinterested because I liked ballet so much. I was like, a boy. Boys just gonna distract me. But also, they're gross. They were gross now. They're gross then. They're gonna be gross in the future. I feel like I remember a lot of boys, like at 10 years old, 9 years old, not being aware enough to know to not pick your nose in public. I'm not joking. That's not joking. That's real. That's real. I remember this kid in fourth grade, third grade, something like that. He would not wash his hands at any point. It didn't matter if it was number one, number two, an unrelated number thing. Wouldn't wash his hands and then ended up in the hospital. He's fine. But like, I remember he went away and I was like, dang, that's it. When I was 13, I loved watching rom-coms. It was like To All the Boys I Loved Before, a lot of stuff with Reese Witherspoon in it, Mark Ruffalo, all of those people. I was like, oh, like when I'm an adult, this is gonna be like a thing that I actually would like. Part of it is when I was in middle school, I went to a conservative middle school. People that were just like ill-informed, I would say. I remember thinking about it, I was like, I must be a lesbian because this is ridiculous. I don't like anyone here. I don't like anyone. No one's like even remotely attractive. They must all be like this. I'm not a lesbian. But I do remember in middle school though, there were a couple of friends that I had. 3 different instances of people who had a crush on me and told me they had a crush on me. 2 of them were girls and 1 of them was a guy. So I was like, maybe I am a lesbian. I'm not. But it made me think about it because, okay, anyways. But eventually, when I was 13, I was kind of like, okay, I should probably like someone. And so I texted a boy on Snapchat that I thought was cute. We didn't go to the same school at this point. And I was just like, I tried to be I was trying really hard to flirt. And I wanted him to like me so that I could see, did I like boys? Did I like him? And I got friend zoned in 3 days. And then 3 years later, I ended up switching to his high school and we had 2 classes together. Never said anything, but I know for a fact that he knew that I was a girl on Snapchat that told him I loved him. 3 days. That's crazy. That's not me. That was not me. That was her. That was the past. I don't claim 13-year-old me for doing that. And my friend at the time was really mad at me because I did that. We had major beef for a couple of weeks because of that. After that, after that, I went to an art school and I switched high school 4 times, but at my first school, the art school, I dated someone. We're going to call him July. I dated July and it was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. It feels like too modern. This feels too modern, but we started talking through Instagram first. I started high school when COVID started. And so that was the only way to talk to people in your class, unless Teams messaging, which you don't want to do that. You don't want to message in the Teams group chat, hey, what are you doing later? No, you don't want to do that. But he like responded to one of my stories calling me pretty, and then we like talked for a couple of months. And then towards the end of my freshman year, we met in person at school. Now looking back, I think I just wanted a boyfriend because what I said before, just to see. I know this is wrong now, but looking back, I feel like I just dated him because I wanted to know, did I like boys? And I didn't like him. This is a common thing when I date people. I just feel like I date them too quickly before knowing them, and then it's this weird thing where you're in a relationship but you don't know how to talk to the other person, and so you also, because you don't know how to talk to the person, you don't know how to break up with them. Don't recommend it. Don't recommend it. I feel like me and him dated for 3 weeks. He was also my first kiss. What made me not like him was, yes, we really couldn't communicate, but he didn't really seem to care. And he wore skinny jeans every day. This is another common thing, really into anime, but not in a normal way. Okay, then later on in high school, in my junior year, this was the same school where I told you this guy I was talking to on Snapchat was there. Actually, this is a crush that I remember having when I was little. And this would have been my 3rd time switching schools in high school. And I met like 2 people that were really good friends with each other, and they had a whole friend group. So I went with them to the friend group, and then I just started hanging out with them every day. And then completely forgot about this crush earlier, but I had a huge crush on this person, and he was in the friend group. He was in the friend group. And he remembered me by my nickname. He remembered me in middle school. And I was just like, dang, I'm cooked. Dang, I'm done for. I don't know to this day, does he know about this, but in 5th grade, me and a girl named Amy, we put these notes in his locker, and they're basically both like, I really like you. This is why I like you. You are so cute. And then like initials. Like you knew who wrote it. You knew who wrote it. And then folded them up and put them in his locker. Last day of school, he opens up the locker, junk, trash. And so those notes were in there, but I don't know, did he find them and read them or not? Because it was the last day of school, so he couldn't have told us if he had ever found them. I had a crush on him this entire year. I thought he was cute because he was like kind of quirky and he had like really thick hair. Like, I don't know. Go back to what we were talking about. This person that I had a crush on when I was younger and I left the note for, he introduced me to the person who would end up being my boyfriend that year, despite me having a crush on him. He was just like a like a strong dude, and he seemed interesting. He had like a lot of impressive things about himself, like being an impressive athlete. There's nothing necessarily bad to say about him, but there's also like, we started dating and I was just like, I'm old now. I want a boyfriend. And then again, I started dating him, but we didn't know anything about each other. And I felt like I was just dating to be able to say that I dated someone. Instead of like breaking up when I found out that that was like what I felt, we just kind of didn't talk for a couple of weeks. And then I found what class he was in and like knocked on the door and asked him to come out, and then I broke up with him in the hallway. And then that was it. But he's a really interesting dude. I feel like we're just like sometimes I still think about him because I'm like, that dude was like something else, but I know nothing about him. He was just like interesting. That's so mean. That's not what I meant. He'd know who he is too while he's watching this, but he's a cool dude. I don't know nothing about him. And that's the latest that I've dated. And that was 3 years ago. Almost 4. It's okay, guys. It's okay. My toe is bleeding. Fig Newton? My mom says Fig Newton. I said it first, but my mom says Fig Newton and Awfully and all those things. I'm just like a little bit cooler than my mom though, but it's okay. It's okay. I just had to let y'all know. So currently, it's like I just said, it's like a little over 3 years since that happened, and I haven't dated, like not even gone on a date, but not even had a boyfriend either. But now I'm the age where everyone is dating. And I don't really know when it starts because I didn't really have friends in high school that were dating. So I assume that like once people get to college or college age, that's when they're like, I'm gonna go dating. Most of my friends either are in relationships and don't really talk about dating like in the way that I'm talking about it right now. They just like kind of talk about like, I like the stuff that they do with their partner rather than like the whole like limbo of dating and trying to like someone and that kind of thing. But the rest of my friends want to date badly, which isn't an issue because look at me right now. Look what I'm freaking doing on the internet. But I have one friend that would not stop talking about dating the whole semester. The whole semester. We're cool, but it was like getting to me. It was getting to me, and I'm not innocent because I'm going to tell y'all what happened my freshman year. But that almost exploded my brain just because she was talking about dating so much and boys so much. Which brings me, I'm a hypocrite, but it brings me to like this thought of I really don't want my life to be centered around dating because I don't want my life to be dependent on someone else in any way. In any way. Not financially, not emotionally, not like entertainmentally. I don't know what I meant by that. But none of it, because I think everyone like emotionally in different ways at least have a hard time one way or another maintaining themselves. So to add something else or someone else on top of that, that just makes yourself a lot harder to feel happy or stable. You know, I don't see myself being sufficient enough with a relationship being that important to me. A relationship is important, but to be more important than my own life is not what I want. And I don't think that's me. But sometimes it's like, it's addicting to like boys or to like anyone for that matter. Okay, I completely lost my train of thought. My sister came in here and became a problem that she couldn't solve. So let's try to get back to what I was saying. The thing is, though, it's like liking boys is addictive. It's a bad habit you don't want. And yes, eventually I want to end up like married or in a relationship or something. All of the boys my age, sorry, get mad at me if you want to. I'm so much cooler than them by a lot. I like those things on Pinterest say, I've never met a man cooler than me. Never. Mm-hmm. But it's addicting. It's addicting because you want the feeling of like another person. You want the feeling of that comfort. But guys, of course, when I'm talking about guys, I don't mean to generalize. Obviously, it's not all of them. But I feel as though the majority, and also the majority of people in general, like men and women alike, just don't really, they care a lot about what other people have to say. And I know that we live in a world where what other people say can, I don't know. Well, actually, I don't really know what happens with that because I have a problem where I don't care. Guys, I'm sorry. If you already weren't turned away by the title of this video or my Hinge profile, I'm probably unavailable. What was I trying to say? I feel like everyone cares way too much. And because everyone cares too much, they assume that other people will care just as much. And I think that's why, like, whether you're a girl or a guy, like, if you want to ask someone out, you're too scared because you're like, they care. They care. They care. I know that people don't give a flying damn like a beaver because I went to therapy painted blue. They giggled, they chuckled, but we still got it through group therapy. That didn't stop nobody. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just care a little bit less. Care a little bit less what other people have to say. And that's why I think it's like hard to date. I'm not gonna go into this too much, but nonchalantness, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. That's all I have to say. You know how like old people, not because they're old as fuck, but the point that they got there or the way that they got there, they stop caring. They stop caring. They don't care. People's grandmas be running around naked all day. That's a little extreme. But old people usually do not care. Do not care about a thing. And you know what? That's why your grandma is a pimp. Your grandma be getting people. Now, you may not understand what I'm saying, but you'll get it in a couple of years. But basically, to bundle it all, boys are addicting to like, even though I don't want to like them. The reason I think boys are so addicting to like is because you don't see a lot of people living their life alone. And it's hard to want something that doesn't seem possible. Living alone and living content with it, which isn't a bad thing. But we're shown that it is. And obviously everything has its downsides. Living alone, like, maybe you don't have companionship in a romantic way, but you probably do have it in a platonic way. Or the opposite. If you're in a relationship, maybe you only feel that compassion in a romantic way and not in a platonic way. Okay, so let's talk about recently. Let's talk about recently and all of the freaking bullshit this year has had with me and dating. But this past year, I despise her. Okay, this past year, I went to my freshman year, obviously single, and so I was like, oh, I'm about to get bitches. What? Holla, holla. That's not what happened. I didn't get a bitch of any type. But I did have crushes this year. So one of my first crushes, I feel like it's too soon to say anything, but yo freaking low. And also, I want to be able to look back on my memories and be like, okay, that's like genuine because that was in a time of relevance. You know what I mean? If you're going to report on something, report on it now. It's like if you reported on what's like a historically important thing that's not like inappropriate to use as an example. I can't think of anyone, so I'm just going to say 9/11. That's like if you just now reported about 9/11 24 years later. You know what I mean? I need to keep it, I need to say it out loud while I still have it in my brain before I lose it. So recently, I had a crush on my neighbor. Dumb decision. He knows who I am. Why did I say that? Let me get some reference. My floor this year, my dorm floor, everyone knew each other, and essentially we were a friend group, but like some people were kind of like, nah, bro, what? Who are y'all? And there were also like smaller groups within it, whatever. But I really liked my neighbor for some reason, even though I hated that motherfucker in the first semester. I think it was just kind of like one of those, like, you know what, whatever. It all went downhill though. I got under the influence at a work party, and I was like, hey, come get me, come help me. And my friend from school and work was there, and he came and got us. And then I like told everyone who was there that I had a crush on him. But I feel like maybe I had a crush on him at this point for a month, because now I'm talking about the second semester. Because he had a lot of very different opinions than me, ones that I find incorrect. And I think I just liked him because I was like, oh, he's really different than me. Different, and you like to be challenged by someone. Because usually I be yammering. People just let me talk. They never stop me. No, honestly, no. I talk a lot. People try to stop me, but usually they can't. He could. But it was because I'd be in like a what the fuck did you just say? You know? I don't know. Opposite in the wrong way, people. Oh, another one. I'm not gonna go too much into this because me and him are friends and we're cool. And we're like in a friend group. The neighbor that I just mentioned, his roommate, who me and him were like really good friends, had went and told this other person I had a crush on him in front of me, in front of the person I had a crush on, his roommate, and their neighbor, and me. Oh my god, and it was so embarrassing. I have like a hard time feeling embarrassment because to me embarrassment is a mindset. Like you don't get embarrassed by something unless you tell yourself you're embarrassed. You know what I mean? And that doesn't apply to other emotions every single time. You know what I mean? Like if you're sad about something, a lot of the times you can't change that. You know? Like if something unfortunate like your dog dying makes you sad, you don't just choose not to be sad. You have to sit with that, you know? But this feeling of embarrassment was like one of the first times where I was like, okay, this is different. Like I actually feel really embarrassed and scared because I was like, oh, are me and my friends gonna be chill after this? Like, are we gonna still be friends? We were, but that was like probably up there with embarrassing moments ever. But that was actually like now that it's done with, it's chill because now um I don't have a crush on him anymore because um it's like one of those things when somebody is a lot like you and so you see a lot of the things that you kind of am like, dang, why do I do that? And why do you do that? Type of thing. But not in a angry way. It's just you see a lot of similarities where you wish there were differences. That sounds like a really angry formal email that I just sent someone. That's not what I. That was not it. Sorry. My roommate had a boyfriend, and I'm friends with him. Wait, actually, I'll just name drop. Dunya and Aika, the cutest ever. Um, Aika had a roommate that I would just like to call White Jesus, and they put us on a double date, and that shit was weird because we were both like, what the fuck? What's happening right now? I also showed up with no shoes. And it was at the dining hall. I don't know, but honestly, that's honestly it. That's it. That's it. The last one doesn't even count. And the first one was just straight bullshit. That's like it that's happened, honestly, since I was a junior in high school. So, okay, wait, actually, that's kind of a fib. So, dating apps. I'm someone where I'm like, I would say like I have a type B personality, but I'm extremely analytical. Like I have notebooks. I probably have like in my room, just in my room alone, in my room, not including storage, probably like 15 notebooks filled cover to cover just with random things of one specific topic. And I remember one time I like wrote out every single person that I ever had a crush on, meaning celebrity wise, in one of these notebooks. I wrote down every single thing I want. Because I remember back in 2020, no, not even 2020, probably past that, sometime within the last like 2 years or something like that, everyone was on that manifestation game. And people should keep doing it. Keep manifesting, girl. But I was on a different level. I wrote down every single celebrity crush I have ever had. Ever had. I wrote down traits. It's in like personality, how they met their significant other that they're currently with, or like their most successful relationship, if that makes sense. Like, also like what they look like, what I feel like is their most important personality traits, and I like wrote down like graphic bars of the percentages where this was common. And I was like, ultimately, someone who has the higher points of these percentages is my perfect future spouse. I also wrote out like, in a relationship, this is what I'll allow and this is what I won't allow. And I feel like, no, that's crazy. No, that's not crazy. That's just like a little extreme. But I feel like I'm not staying true to what I told myself I was and wasn't going to do because I downloaded dating apps after I wrote down that I would never meet someone in that kind of way. Because to me, I feel like dating apps, you meet someone with the intention of dating. Does that make sense? I don't want someone to meet me under those pretenses. I want someone to meet me by knowing me and not knowing me as a girlfriend. I feel like you should meet someone, get to know them, and not apply new expectations on them to then date them, but to see, are they what you want? Oh my god. I forgot there was another thing that happened this year, but I feel there was another person that like something happened. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I was like, I'm not gonna get dating apps because I feel like that is just somebody meets me, but they already want to be my boyfriend. And the same thing, I kind of think the same thing with being set up on dates. It's not the same thing as dating apps because dating apps, people kind of are more like, because it's this quick, accessible thing, I feel like they're more like, you will be my girlfriend, or this is nothing. We are not friends, nothing. Which I understand you get a dating app to be to date, not to befriend. But I'd rather be someone's friend first because at least when you go on a date, there's no like fake panel that you're living behind where it just lists all of these things like what school you go to, how you align politically, how you kind of function in a way, like describe how you function in a way that's acceptable on an online format, acceptable on a regulated online format. Versus when you meet someone in person that you necessarily immediately know them better than you would online, but they can't fake what's happening. You meet the actual person and not the caricature of them. I could get behind going on dates to meet someone to date more, to become my boyfriend, but to meet someone under those pretenses just makes me a little worried because I'm kind of like, they're going to expect me to be their girlfriend when I might not even like them. And again, like I've said before, I do have like this weird thing where I don't want to break up with people, and I also don't know like what is quote unquote worth breaking up for. And so I would just worry that I would want to people please so much that I would go along. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That was cringe. Why did I just say that? That was cringe. But anyways, another thing is I feel like me using the dating app, because I don't really have much to go off of other than what they want me to know about them and their photos, I just kind of scroll through them and I'm like, okay, do they align politically the same with me? They don't. Which, if it was the 80s or something like that, this would be a different thing. But because politics are so polar in the United States and is getting that way across the world, I don't want to enter into something I know is gonna freaking blow up like a car fire in freaking the Superbad movie. I don't know why that was the first thing that came up. Anyways, what I was trying to say is all I have to go off of is just like stuff that I don't think is important. And so because I only have these things that I feel like don't tell me all there is to know about them, I honestly, if I see somebody that looks like a hammerhead shark, I'm clicking no because it's not that I'm doing myself a favor, which I am in a way, but I'm doing them a favor because I know that I'll be an asshole. I'm sorry, guys. Am I being too self aware? I just feel like if I don't find someone attractive, then I don't see the potential of a relationship, and so I'll kind of come off as an asshole because I'll just keep friend zoning them until I'm like, okay, wait a minute. He thinks that I like him. Maybe I should say something. And then I say something, and then he's like, what? And then I'm like, yeah, I should have said something. Like, I don't want it ever to get to that point. So let me just cut it off clean when I know that I would end up leading you along because I don't think you're attractive. Does that make sense? I know I'm still an asshole, but. And now I'm gonna this isn't helping my case, but honestly, I still have Hinge downloaded because I get Instagram followers from it. And if that doesn't tell you anything, maybe you should freaking drop a follow to my Instagram. I don't know. Um, and they tell me that they listened. It's not even just like one person. Like 4 people have told me that they found my podcast and listened to it. Is that not crazy? So I don't know. Holla. But right now, I'm just like, I do want to date, but I think I might either be too much of an asshole to date, or I don't know. I want to date though.